Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I'm here for a new KyoAni show. We finished up Dragons, and Dragons were good. I thoroughly enjoyed Dragon Maid. It was a good time, but it's time to move on. There aren't that many KyoAni shows left. There are enough, more than enough, but there aren't that many. It has also been a little while since I actually polled and figured out which of the KyoAni shows people are probably most interested in watching first, because we're gonna watch most of them. So I decided to throw up a poll, and I put Kyokai no Kanata, Chuunibyou, Tamako, and Amagi Brilliant Park on the poll. Chuunibyou won, so that's what we're gonna be watching. Immediately after that, pretty close gap was Tamako, so that'll be next. And then it will come down to Kyokai no Kanata and Amagi Brilliant Park. I think Kyokai no Kanata was a little bit ahead, so we'll probably do them in that order, which sounds great to me. So, starting off, we've got Chuunibyou Demo Koi ga Shitai. I don't know very much about this show. I know that it's about Chuunibyou. I assume that they're in high school. They could be in middle school, but I don't really know. And there's a girl, and she wears an eye patch, and I've seen her around a lot. I've seen her as emoji, and I've seen memes with her, and I've seen her skirt bounce because apparently that's part of, I think, the OP. I don't know, but there's a gif of her bouncing her butt, and it's funny. That's all I know about Chuunibyou really as a show. So I went digging as I usually do and found some interesting stuff. Chuunibyou is one of the first shows that KyoAni made that was based off of their light novel competition that they started in 2009, the KyoAni Prize. And I think it's the first of those that actually got an anime adaptation. It got an honorable mention in the prize thing, and the whole idea, as far as I know it, behind the light novel prize that KyoAni was doing was that they wanted to find talented authors and find good properties before they really hit the big time and became mainstream, and then gain control over those properties so they wouldn't have to deal with some of the bullshit that KyoAni went through, negotiating production shit with pre-existing properties, which makes a lot of sense and is part of the reason that KyoAni has so much like leeway when they do production committee stuff, because they're insistent about being on the committee themselves. And for those novels that have actually won prizes from them, they're pretty insistent about holding on to the property rights, or at least partial property rights, so they can do what they want with the anime adaptation. And I might be way off, and I might be missing parts of that, but I think I've got a general idea, and that's pretty cool. So this is Chuunibyou. That's what this is. It's a light novel adaptation, but it's their light novel adaptation. So, who's working on the adaptation? Well, it's being directed by Tatsuya Ishihara, one of the more prolific KyoAni directors chair peoples, also the director of Air and Kanon or Kanon. I don't remember how you pronounce that one, but whatever. Clannad or Clannad, whichever you prefer, as well as Hibike Nichijou and Haruhi. So, lots of their big ticket shows, especially Haruhi and Clannad. I think that of these, Nichijou is kind of the standout as being different from the rest. All of the others have like a focus on storytelling. And maybe you could say that Haruhi is a little bit more episodic than some of the others, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. But there's a focus on having a plot thread go through the thing and not being just episodic. So I don't know if I should expect that from what's coming up in Chuunibyou. I don't really know what the nature of this show is going to be, whether it's going to be leaning more heavily into the romancy side of things or the comedy side of things or mixing and matching. I just don't know. But Ishihara's at the helm, and I'm pretty confident about that. Going through the rest of the staff list, they're all pretty frequent KyoAni staffers. Nobody super stood out to me as being like a voice that I could recognize in terms of color or design or other specific things, except for Ishihara. Of course, there are lots of familiar names. Like Yamada comes in and does episode direction, apparently on the ED, which is cool. And lots of other people have worked on lots of other things on this show. It's very clearly a KyoAni project, and lots of people are on it. But nobody who super stood out, and it's kind of bittersweet, but nobody that I have to say, like, rest in peace to, because most of the major staffers are still with us, which is kind of wonderful. So, that's most of what I've got for Chuunibyou. We're gonna watch it now. Let's watch it now. So I went and downloaded a copy of Chuunibyou. I decided on grabbing the MK encode. If you look on Nya, that's the one that I grabbed, and it's got multiple subtitle tracks. Just based on some comments that I saw, there are three different sets of subtitle tracks. There's the MK, the URW, and the GG. Apparently, MK and GG are pretty similar, and both have flaws. The URWs are supposed to be better, so that's what I've switched to for now. If people want to give me information on what subtitles they prefer on Chuunibyou, assuming that I'm not doing the right thing, which I always assume because I'm probably not, let me know and I'll switch it up. But for now, we're going to use the URW subtitles as included with the MK Blu-ray encode of Chuunibyou. Cool? Cool. So, let's actually get into it. First off, there will be early access for this show. It's a poll show. If you want 1 week early reactions to Chuunibyou, you can totally get them. They're available on the Patreon. Go check that out. And if you want Discord access so you can talk about this and other shows in the Q&A slot and whatever, then you can grab that on the Patreon as well. So check that out if you want to. I spent a good portion of this morning dealing with some crazy Discord drama that exploded last night, and woof, it was rough. But hopefully the changes that I've made will end up making it a slightly friendlier place in the future. So check it out if you feel like it. No pressure. Anyway, let's turn our attention to Chuunibyou. As I said, I've got episode 1 up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you would like to do a syncy thing and sync up your own copy of the episode of Chuunibyou up with the timer-based version on YouTube, you are more than welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready because the beep beep timer to count you down will be coming at you now. Yeah. This filter. Those. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, yes, reading Nietzsche in the original. Ah, it's gotta be black. Absolutely. Yeah. What about the demon in your right arm? Oh, he looks like he does. Look at the oh, fuck. Is it Kirito? It's Kirito! The Dark Flame Master. Ah, got it. Okay. The embarrassment of youth. But some don't grow. Some don't outgrow their symptoms. Oh, he actually has all that shit. Is she watching him? Where did he get a giant sword? Ah. Well, that wasn't strange at all. Oh, she's got a big ol' ahoge. That's a baka right there. Oh. I mean, maybe. Yeah. That's a weird one. Okay, into the OP we go. So it's kind of it's supposed to be like a play on the meeting Manic Pixie Girl. Although she will be a Manic Pixie Girl. We'll see. Oh, jeez. I don't know if I like that. It's kind of a lot to keep track of as it keeps flashing back and forth. She's spinning her... No. Yes, she is. She's spinning her twin tails. And dancing. Okay, she's cute. My best girl senses are tingling. Is that supposed to be her sister? I assume so. She's got the same gigantic ahoge. Oh, that I have seen. And that I have seen. Ah. So that's what we were going for. I see you, KyoAni. I see you with that pose. Like, okay. Okay, we've got an emoto. Putsuteyuna. Just leaving all that shit on the porch. Okay. Trying to get rid of all the evidence. It's plastic, right? I bet you did. Oh, hello, family. With the tyrant's eye of truth. I assume that's why she wears an eye patch. Okay, solid environments, not going for the full detail. Oh, hi. Yeah. Yep, not a dream. Ah. Powerful magician you are. So smug about it. That just makes you an idiot. Ah. Mm. So that your reputation wouldn't, yeah. Uh-huh. There it is. Oh, no. I'm gonna change everything. Uh-huh, except. And who's watching you right now? Yeah, she's watching you right now. Hello, probable best friend boy. Let's be friends. Okay. Yuta. Mm-hmm. Mm. Hmm. Nibutani. Uh-oh. Um. Well, you've got everyone's attention. Mm. Mm. Huh. Ha. um. No, that's eye drops. You don't need those. That face, though. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah. She heard you. Or you were just spying on him. Yeah, there we go. Gotta be more careful. Oh, she's gonna force him back in. Ah. I need to write that down. I couldn't see. Hold on. 10, 50, bounce. What are you talking about? I have the tyrant's eye. All right, let's see your proof of power. Let's go. Oh shit, he's buying in. And the truth. Of course. It's not real. I don't want any. Nah, bud, you're fucked. Yep. You are fucked. Bye. Ah. Ah. You can try. All right, so what's gonna go horribly wrong with this public image here? Okay. Ooh. Uh-oh. Yep, people are gonna get the wrong idea as well. Oh no. And why is she talking to the teacher right now? Oh, not that. Oh no. Oh no. I don't buy it. Cause you live a floor or two below her. Yeah, you live in the same building. Yep. It always does that when she's sitting, huh? 1,000 years ago. Of course. That looks real effective. Just trying desperately to ignore her. Eh, that's the Konami code. Up, down, left, right, BA start. uh, Mr. Peter, banana taste. She's going to take credit for everything and blame everything that goes wrong on her enemies. Just dragging her around on the heelys. Oh, hello, Emoto. Ah, so we're gonna have to help her move, eh? Eh. Well, I mean, you had some boxes too. Hmm. That is taking a while. But okay. Okay, never that makes sense. That is a lot of shit. Oh. Working for the organization, obviously. Please. Please ignore it. Ah, fuck. We have the solution. Just give her food and she will be quiet. How can you even carry it? Okay, it's not metal. And of course that sounds like the best for her. All right. Serious moment? Hmm. Aww. Aw, he's playing along a little bit. Hmm. Okay. But hmm. Is that the end? That's the end. Oh yeah, that's definitely yep. So I said I thought that I had seen that Naoko Yamada had directed the ED. Yeah, yeah, that tracks. Like third shot at it is feet. Yep, okay, that tracks. Oh, I still haven't met her. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right. I could work with this. Okay, I'll say this to start off. I like this episode. However, of the KyoAni shows that we've watched on this channel, K-On!, Hibike, Dragon Maid, Lucky Star, Violet, and now, and Hyoka. I forgot Hyoka. Hyoka. Of the episode ones that we've watched, I think this is the weakest. I still like it, but I think of the KyoAni show episode ones that we've watched so far, I think this one's the weakest. Now I have to try and hone in on why I think that's the case. Because it's one thing to just make a blanket statement like that. Like, I think this is the weakest episode out of this list of 7 first episodes of shows. And it's another thing to try and figure out why comparatively. Okay, when examining the first episode of a show, I usually try to answer a particular question, and that question is, what is this episode intending to do? What is the intent here, and how well was it executed? I listed out all of the other KyoAni shows that we've watched, and tried to do sort of the same thing, apply the same question to them. When we ask, what is K-On's first episode trying to do, and how well is it done? I'd say it's something along the lines of, we're trying to establish Yui as a character, introduce variables in the form of the rest of the group, and give her some demonstrable reason that she wants to become involved, right? Call her to action and make us feel it. And we do that with the moment at the end when she hears them play music and kind of decides that she wants to go along. And then at that point, the journey begins, and becoming musicians becomes the thing. For Hyoka, we introduced the main boy's, I forgot his name right now. I had it in my head a second ago. We introduce him and his paradigm on life, which is to avoid wasting any effort. Then we introduce variables in terms of side characters or other characters, mainly his romantic interest, who threaten that and threaten to push him out of his comfort zone. Cool. In Hibike, establish who establish who Kumiko is, introduce side characters that threaten to change her way of life and way of thinking about things. Go from not really caring, being a bit of a leaf on the wind, to the eventual journey that will lead her to actually caring and wanting to improve as a musician. Also introduce her and demonstrate the chemistry that she has with Reina. Same thing in Hyoka, we demonstrate the chemistry between the male and the female lead. Dragon Maid, although the main couple in it is they're both female, like, it's similar in a lot of ways. We introduce our main character, Kobayashi, kind of, and then we introduce all the things that change when somebody else enters her life and her dynamic with Toru. Lucky Star is a bit of an oddball because it's so episodic and so vignette-y, but we at the very least introduce what the show what we can expect from the show moving forward. Violet's also a little bit different because it's so far on the end of drama, but again, we introduce Violet, where she's been, where she's come from, and we introduce the thing that gives her an idea for what she wants to do with the rest of herself, which is the contact with an auto memory doll. And all those episode ones are really well executed, I think. I think all of them give a really good indication of what the rest of the show is going to be, and they by and large hooked me almost immediately. This one doesn't quite hook me, and I still don't quite know why. I've got a theory, I've got an idea, and that idea is that maybe the chemistry between our two main characters just doesn't click with me. And I think that's a pretty solid possibility. They've got a pretty standard bokeh tsukomi routine going on here, with our main boy being the straight man and her being the baka bokeh. Um, but it just doesn't click. We've got this humorous loop, right? Which essentially, here, let's see. I think I stopped on an example of it. Rika, so she says something that is Chuuni-esque, right? Something oddball-y and stuff. He beats her up, and it's action-y. Lots of stuff happens. He continues doing this until she becomes cute, and then continues doing it even more. And I'm not sure how to feel about these sequences. I don't know what I'm supposed to get from them. Now there's an inherent humor to the whole Bokeh Tsukomi straight man funny guy routine going here, but am I supposed to be finding her cute in these moments? Am I supposed to be buying into the possibility of chemistry between these characters? Is this demonstrating their conflict and his unwillingness to listen to her, which will then change slightly by the end of the episode? Perhaps. It just feels a little thin. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel quite right. And the reason that I bring it up is because there's a lot of this. A large portion of the episode consists of this kind of interaction. And while the animation for it is fun and it's goofy and it definitely got me giggling a few times, it also kind of had me like, all right, let's get on with it. Is this what we're doing with the whole thing? Let's move along here. But the story doesn't really move along very much. It stays in this state and it keeps in this state. It changes up a little bit at the end, and I have to wonder what that will be. But those dialogue segments between our two main characters don't really work for me. Some of the stuff a little bit later, the stuff here, works a lot better. It's a little bit less forced, and it's a little bit less forced humor. There's a little bit more humanity to their actions later on in the episode, including stuff like the little sister being the littlest sister being super goofy, and the way that mom gets involved in the conversation and kind of tells embarrassing stories about Yuta. I think that works for me. But the stuff with just the two of them interacting with each other doesn't work super well, and I'm not sure why. Again, got theories, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm sorry to start this discussion on a more negative note, but the main thing that I noticed in this episode was this doesn't click as well as I would maybe expect a KyoAni episode 1 to click. I think this first sequence is probably the best part of the episode, in my opinion, because it's good. I think this first sequence is good. Narration to introduce the main concept, reference images to make it feel like this is maybe a real thing, which it is. It's a real possibility. And going through some of the jokes. Honestly, this opening sequence feels like Kaguya-sama more than anything. The same kind of intro to a thing. I don't know. Alright, we meet our edgy boy protagonist. Introduce that he was an edgy boy, and then demonstrate that he is no longer interested in this as he goes through his journals and has this like embarrassment about his past self. He's got all this crap all over the place, the fingerless gloves, the goblet, the all sorts of crap. And it is crap. And he knows it. He's trying to get rid of it. Okay. That works. That shows us where our MC's place is right now. He doesn't want anything to do with this Chuuni shit, and he's gonna be forced to deal with this Chuuni shit because she's there, and boom, conflict. Okay. How will that conflict be resolved? I don't know. I have no idea. But this works. That first portion works, and then this next portion, once we actually introduce her, works as well, I think. He's throwing away all his stuff, and it's almost like... it's almost Aesop-y. It's almost Christmas Carol-y. It's almost, like... At the moment he's giving up, a fairy godmother appears, right? It's weird. It's almost fairy tale-esque that she descends in this particular moment when he's throwing everything away. Or he has decided to give up on the Chuuni stuff and she threatens to pull him back. But visually and aesthetically and just like thematically, I think this is a pretty cool reveal. the rope, the bottom half of a gothic loli outfit with the thigh-high tights and the Zettai Ryoki and everything super important hidden under floof of petticoats, which is good. But the whole thing, the way she kicks him in the face, and the almost reverent way that he puts his hands out and accepts her feet as she lowers herself is pretty great. This whole introduction for her is awesome and mysterious and weird. The did you want to see? It's pretty funny. It's unique. She's showing that she's definitely a weirdo, which is all we really need to know about her. She's strange. She's different. She's weird. Okay, that puts her in the perfect position to be our Manic Pixie Dream Girl. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look at TV tropes for Manic Pixie Dream Girl. You'll pick it up real fast. It happens a lot. Happens a lot. Hell, there are a lot of them. I'm not going to go through examples because there are too many. But she works as that. And this introduction is really pretty. The Sakura, the moon, the camera angles, just the way that she sort of floats from on high. It's ethereal and weird and almost dreamlike, and it's good. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, then we get the OP. The OP is a lot to deal with because it keeps flashing back and forth between the two sides, and I kind of hate that. It's just annoying. It's too much. But the actual visual stuff going on in the OP is cool. I want to meet her a lot, Twin Tails girl, because she seems real goofy. And I like the goofy. That's got to be your sister. Yeah, she's got the same ahoge and she's drinking a beer. And then we split them, and then we've got the goofies, the things that have become memes like that and that. And there's this sequence, breaking free, and then holding hands but divided, which is cute. I don't know what to think of it. Maybe there's more foreshadowing than I see in it, but I don't see a lot. Okay, meet our characters. Meet our main boy. Green eyes, just like the Hyoka main boy. I forget his name still. Pretty normal, every lead-esque hair. He's pretty fucking normal. We do have some subtle hair gradients on here. I don't hate them. They're fine. They don't bother me too much. It's fine. The characters are good. The character designs are cute. Color design looks good. All pretty much like base expectations when I go into a KyoAni show. It's gonna look okay. Composition's gonna be alright. Backgrounds will look okay. And they do. They're not going for this super high detail of certain other KyoAni shows, like K-On! Has a lot of ultra high detail backgrounds. These shed a little bit of that. It's a little bit less ultra realistic, which is fine. There's no prob. No prob at all. All right. So we have our chance encounter, and in pretty much any other visual novel adaptation or standard light novel thing, this would be main girl, and this would be our encounter with main girl, right? Our chance encounter on day one of school with main girl, who we realize is then in our class and then have a crush on for the rest of the thing. And we meet other girls as we move along, because there have to be other routes and stuff. But that's not how we're doing things here, because she broke the rules, like the rules of an engagement. Our Chuni friend did, by appearing and having an encounter with the protagonist before the first day of school. But she would otherwise be, this is Nibutani, I believe, she would otherwise be main girl. She's cute, she has the main girl aesthetic, very much so, with a distinctive hair accessory and all the cuteness and the right body type and all the stuff. And we're interrupted by her appearance. Oh, fuck. All right. Then we have this moment where she demonstrates her great magician's power and opens the automatic door on the subway. Truly a wizard. Truly. And then there's this, which is the best. This works for me a lot. The smugness that she has as she's just sort of waltzes in, just like ha 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 ha. That's excellent. That's good stuff. That's character. I like it a lot. And then we do the funnies, and it's not that funny. Yeah. All right, so main boy running away from his things, thinks he can integrate into society. He's going to fail because of her. We know that because that's the setup. Some cool camera angles. Meet best friendo boy. For now, he's going to be our best friendo boy. Let us know information that we don't know about the school and the classes and stuff because he's been a student here longer. Find out important things. Maybe tell us to stay away from Junie girl because she's screwing our reputation and stuff. That kind of thing. He'll be around. I expect to see him all the time. All right, so apparently we've got a good eye because she's going to be Queen Bee at some point, and we're fucked. And then this happens, and she starts freaking out about her eye. And this is a good phase. And then we're forced to take her to the nurse's office, and the part of the episode that doesn't click for me starts. This whole thing, I mean, it's okay. There are a bunch of gags in here that do work for me. It's just the overall framework that doesn't. Like, her licking the eye drop is weird and goofy on the same level as, like, Kana eating a bug. It's maybe a little bit unexpected, a little bit weird. But when she actually just keeps talking about the Chuuni shit that she believes in that isn't real, it's like, all right. And you probably noticed this during the reaction because I don't like try to hide my expressions, but like, all right, come on. There were at least a few eye rolls in there. And I know that that's part of the point. Like, we're not supposed to take her words at face value. We're supposed to see that she's being a little bit ridiculous, that she has these delusions. And we understand that. We also understand that because it's not serious, right? It's not like she is schizophrenic or is seriously mentally disabled or anything like that. We understand that it's kind of a funny thing because it's just a show that she's putting on, however much she believes it. So we feel okay laughing about it. But if that's where all of the humor comes from, it feels a little off to me. It feels a little bit iffy. I don't know. To laugh at her for being a Chuunibyou, just that isn't enough for me. It has to be funny things that she does because she's a Chuunibyou. And they've done an okay job. There are enough of those. That's fine. I'm not begrudging at that. But the actual talking about her Chuuni shit is a little bit much. It's just a little bit much. So I get that we're supposed to be feeling ourselves in his place. Like, come on, shut up. But I don't know, it doesn't quite work. Also, geez, it's a lot of abusing her, which is fine. It's goofy, and it's fine. Must have advanced to a level 8 mage. Like, this is a purely visual gag. Well, not really. Not really. He lays everything out as clearly as he can, and the expectation is she's going to accept it, but she doesn't. She just believes that he's transcended onto another level of being a higher level mage. That works. That's goofy. His reaction to it is the main punchline for the joke, though, which is, of course, that he bounces around the room like a rubber ball shot out of a cannon. And I want to see it again, because it's actually pretty great. And she just watches happily. Okay. I like that sequence. It's funny. It's a good punchline. It works. Alright. You're a normal... Yeah. Do you want to see it? Oh, and we get... Yeah, okay. So the panning shot from toes to head along with it connects us visually and like dialogue wise with the do you want to see it at the very beginning. Okay, that works. Yeah, sure. It's just a color contact. Goof. All right. Moving along. Back in public. And it just kind of drags. Alright, and then we actually enter into things happening. Invited out, his chance to actually follow up on that social life that he's been wanting. And you kind of got stuck. She lost her wallet or something. You're being forced to take her home. Fuck. And she lives near you, so you're stuck with her no matter what. Quirky thing like moving the legs when she's sitting around, it makes her seem very childlike, and I think that's the intent. She's supposed to seem protectable and ultra naive and much younger than her age, which is part of the whole Chuuni syndrome anyway. And it works. She's cute. I give it to her. She's got the cuteness. She's also fucking annoying. I don't know if I'll grow out of it. I probably will. But if she doesn't grow at all, I don't know if this is gonna work, man. I just don't know. There are lots of really great little things, like the focus on making fluid hair animation when she turns her head is great. Her face is really cute. I give it to her. She's cute. That sequence is really nice. This whole thing where she runs around and demonstrates the new move is pretty wonderfully goofy and stupid as hell. Of course she's wearing heelys. I think my favorite thing about this whole sequence, though, I mean, the animation is good, don't get me wrong, for this whole flippy dippy do. It's good, but my favorite thing is the guy in the background, just desperately pulling out his phone and trying to ignore her as much as he as much as he can. It's great. Konami code for it. Fucking hell. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Alright, and then we get the boxes stuff, and then we get some conversations with family and things. Show further that she's very much like him, she just hasn't grown out of it at all. And the umbrella thing becomes a thing. He eventually becomes a little bit of a softie, giving in and helps her with the boxes, which is a good thing because it seemed like it took them a number of hours together to get all of those up there. So, yikes. All right, sister always comes home late. The eye, blah, 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 conversation with mom. I think all of this conversation works pretty well, especially with the dynamic of the mom telling embarrassing stories about the kid. The fun part is, of course, that our Chuuni friend thinks that all that's the coolest thing she's ever seen, right? She's like, oh, the sword's super awesome. Oh, you used to wear a cool black coat and wear a sword and be a dragon master. Yeah, you're the best. It's pretty fun. It's good. Okay, sorry. I had to check something. Patty faces for mom. Good stuff. And then we move into a more serious conversation. Let's talk about the music. There's a lot of this kind of stuff. Hitting like single notes, ding 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 ding. I'll call it like xylophone music. It's not on a xylophone, but I think you know what I mean. Ting tung, ting tung, tung ting tung. Right? That kind of shit. It's kind of my least favorite type of soundtrack because it doesn't do anything. It's super common in slice of life comedy shows. Super duper common. All over the place. All the time. Because it's relatively easy to make, and it just keeps like a lighthearted tone in the background without really imbuing any of the scenes with anything more than that. So it's pretty universal, and you can put it behind anything, regardless of whether it's really humorous or going crazy or emotional or whatever. You can just put that behind it, and it's fine. A whole lot of the episode has music like that. That's kind of a little bit different. This has got a different upbeat track. Nothing there. But then there's this ethereal track for the opening sequence, and it's really good. It nails the tone. Dreamlike, ethereal, a magical encounter. Important. It nails it. What's going on here? This works because we're building up to an undercut of tension, right? She's going to reveal his eye. It's like, oh, but we know that it's a joke. That works. Some of the music choices work. Some of them kind of don't. And then we come to the serious scene at the end. How do we know it's a serious scene? Well, it starts off with no music, just silence and rain. That's a start. And then when the music comes in, it's a slow piano track. And then it swells into more of the orchestral stuff. This is our emotional moment. And the emotional moment is our main character decided not to throw away the junk that he gave up because he'll sell it instead. And that's... what? Okay. Okay. Not terribly strong. Now, they do exist refrain that she goes into. I think there are a lot of ways that we could take that. One being that she's just desperate to hold on to these delusions of grandeur that she has, and seeing somebody else turn away from them is a chink in her armor. Maybe. There's also the implication that maybe this is useful to her, that maybe it's a kind of escape for her, or has some other value in letting her kind of turn her attention away from more difficult things in life. But there's nothing that actually indicates that. To make another comparison to another KyoAni show that we've watched, in Dragon Maid Episode 1, we have kind of a similar thing occur. Most of the episode is humorous and establishing the nature of our relationship, but then there's this segment at the end that leans a little bit more somber and a little bit more serious, but there's an indication in those somber and serious moments that, like, they're linked to the story and that they matter and that we'll probably address them in the future. I don't get that vibe from this, and I could be wrong. It could come up. We could get real serious about it, but I don't get that vibe here. I don't feel like we're setting Rika up to have some big reveal that, like, oh, but being a Chuuni is the only way that I can actually deal with the fact that my parents are super neglectful and my sister is always gone and I'm alone all the time and I don't have anything else to do to entertain me. We could, but I don't get that impression. It doesn't seem like where the show's going. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes me wonder what the purpose of this emotional moment is then, and what I'm supposed to take away from it. I don't know. I think we're supposed to get that this is sort of the beginning of their chemistry. Which, if that is the case, and we're going to actually try to show a build of a relationship between these two over time, that means that having them in a place where I don't feel like they have chemistry at the moment, for most of the episode, is maybe intentional, and maybe I shouldn't be knocking it because it's in the same way that I'll often put a little caveat on, like, I don't particularly like the main character because flaws. However, those could be intentional and they could be the flaws that he ends up working through to improve himself over the course of the series, right? In the same way, I don't love their relationship because it doesn't work for me. I don't feel chemistry from it. It could be that we're trying to demonstrate the development of that chemistry over time. I don't know. Now, there's another thing to talk about, which is that I have to wonder how much of KyoAni's intent in making an adaptation of this particular light novel was to try to repeat the kind of success that they had with Haruhi. There are some pretty obvious parallels with the main boy who's kind of normal protagonist material, nothing super special, right? And then girl who's a little off and a little bit crazy. In Haruhi's case, she cares about espers and aliens and time travelers and stuff, and that sucks him into her world with the SOS Brigade and, like, getting stuff going, right? And then we go from there. But there's immediately chemistry between them, if it's a weird one. Or at the very least, there's immediately intrigue around Haruhi. We don't understand her. We don't get her immediately. Riko, we kind of get immediately. She is Chuuni. It's on the box, right? There could be more depth to it. This last scene seems to indicate that there is, but similarly, she's a weirdo, an oddball, an odd one out on the fringes of social norms, and our main character is being pulled into interacting with her. There's a similarity there that I think is intentional. I don't know, but I think. Now, it could be just because a lot of stories work like that. Again, the whole idea of the manic pixie dream girl, the girl who meets the guy, and the girl is gung-ho and enthusiastic about things and wants to see the world or experience craziness and sees him as a road to getting there. Like, that's pretty common in all forms of storytelling and in anime and in manga and in light novels. So, it's not necessarily intentional, but I think it is. I think it is. All in all, this first episode makes me curious about the show. I don't love it the way I've loved a lot of KyoAni episode 1s, but that doesn't mean I dislike it either. There are elements to it that I like and dislike. A lot of those elements could be remedied in the near future and could be intentional setups for later. I don't know. I don't know. Overall production, characters, character design, all of that jazz is, I would say, up to par. There are a lot of little cuts in this episode that are fun and a lot that are really pretty and really cute. A lot of good things going on. And again, the only reason that I'm being as harsh as I'm being is because this is a KyoAni show, and because we've got this backlog of other KyoAni episode 1s that we've all watched together, or that I've watched, and you can go watch me watch, right? And you can compare the way that I reacted to those and what I thought about those initially to the way that I think about this one. It's just that I expect a higher bar from Kyoto Animation, and maybe that's not fair because we're definitely getting into the KyoAni shows that are less beloved, that haven't quite hit the big time in the same way as some of the other ones that we've seen. Like Chuunibyou is no Dragon Maid, is no Hibike, is no Violet in terms of viewership or rating or care. It's just not. It didn't resonate with the audience in the same way. And maybe I'm experiencing exactly that as I'm watching it. Maybe I'm experiencing it for the exact same reasons or different reasons. I don't know. Do I like it? Yeah, sure. Definitely. It was fun. And it's given us a surprising amount to talk about for what we got in this episode. I definitely like it. Do I love it? Am I head over heels for it? Am I craving the next episode immediately? Not really. There are too many things that didn't work for me to make me immediately super engaged. But again, part of that is my expectations being elevated because it's a KyoAni show. Part of that is just I'm not certain about the nature of this show moving forward. And part of it could be intentional. All in all, yeah, pretty good. Some flaws. I think I spent more time talking about the flaws than I maybe should have, but that's okay. They stand out. They stand out. I'm definitely curious. I want to see where we're going with this. If this were a treasure hunt show, to put it in perspective, I'd be willing to watch episode 2 and see where it was going. Whether I knew it was a KyoAni show or not. Okay? So that's my perspective on episode 1 of Chuunibyou. It's alright. We'll see how I feel about the next episode, because my opinion could change dramatically. We'll see. In any case, I think we'll wrap there. Me, Teeaboo. This Chuunibyou. I hope you enjoyed it as much or more than I have. If you have arguments for why things work or don't work in this show, or if you agree with me or disagree with me, throw that in the comments. I'll read them. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to get more opinions on the matter. Please don't spoil anything about future stuff. Like, if these things get better, don't be like, oh, things get better by episode 4. Just don't. I'll figure it out on my own. I'll definitely continue watching the show. I don't, hate it. I won't drop it. For now. We'll see in the future. But for now, we're going to leave episode 1 to simmer, and we'll move on next week. Cool? Cool. So, me, Teeaboo. This is Chuunibyou. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to catch you next week for more. See you there. Peace.